sure you can tell, but I'm not much of an early bird. But I have a good reason to get up early today because I'm going to be on the news. WGN Chicago wants to ask me about a few cliff jumps. Yeah, that's worth getting up early for, I'd say. All right, this is what the setup is looking like. I got a mic, got a ring light, got this little doohickey that plugs them both in.
And after the break, we're talking with the man who calls himself the Cliff Hunter and posts these wild videos online. Look at this. He's not jump here. He doesn't jump.
Thank you very much, sir. We are 2 minutes away from you. 2 minutes.
Perfect.
Thank you.
It's 10:30 on GN Sports and free on the WGM Plus app on your smart TV. Hey, Marcus.
Hi, good morning. We've shown you his videos before. A content creator in Colorado has gained thousands of followers for his videos of extreme cliff jumping. Here's one. Take a look. Come on.
Oh my.
Come on.
Oh no.
Benji.gage calls himself a cliff hunter. His videos have reached hundreds of millions of people online, and he joins us now. Good morning. There he is.
Thank you for having me on.
Wow, it's almost like in the world of AI now, I watch your videos and they look almost fake to me. I cannot believe that you're actually doing this. How long have you been jumping off all these cliffs?
No, I started about 8 years ago when I was 13, so it's been a good amount of time, I'd say.
And you're not in traction, so you're not injuring yourself.
Yeah, I've had a few minor injuries over the years, but as long as you take the right safety steps, it can be done.
How do you possibly stay safe jumping off to a 100-foot cliff? What is your technique?
As far as technique goes, it really comes down to, landing like a pencil, very tensed, very tight. And a big thing that I'm sure goes without saying is making sure that there's no rocks in the water beforehand.
Yeah, go ahead, Larry.
I was always wondering that when you see these videos, do you do a swim, like a pre-swim or something?
Wow, look at this.
Absolutely. I throw on goggles. I have a 15-foot avalanche probe I use too, which helps me look for rocks. I never jump if I, don't 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure that it's deep underneath.
I assume there's a community of people who do this, so you kind of know places that people have already jumped in, but are you finding some of these undiscovered ones yourself and jumping in them?
Absolutely. Some of the videos that you saw there, some of these are known spots, but some of them are spots that I found just on Google Earth, and then I show up, do the depth check, and if it's deep, then I jump it.
What do your parents think about this?
Would you stop reading my mind?
Young man.
They're not stoked on it, but as I've done it over the years and as they've realized that I can do it safely, they've become more tolerant of it, I'd say.
Do you make money doing this?
I do. I have a camera sponsorship with my favorite action camera company, so I love that. That's been a great opportunity. And then I also make just general monetization money through, YouTube, Facebook, stuff like that.
So you've been in like Colorado, Wyoming. Just real quick, is there any other place that's on your bucket list? I got to go here and jump.
Would say, so the video you just rolled there, that place is in Oregon, and I would say Oregon has the best cliff jumping in the continental United States. It is absolutely gorgeous there. Just waterfalls, crystal clear blue water. It's really something else.
Nothing on your wish list here in Illinois, huh? Trying to think of any.
I'm sure you guys have some bridges. I don't know of any cliffs necessarily.
Well, give us a call when that happens, would you? Because I want to be there.
We'll do.
That's awesome. You can check out more of Benji's videos on his social media. Thanks again for joining us. Stay safe, all right?
Thank you so much. We'll do. Well, that was pretty sweet being on the news. So the news anchors asked me something that I get asked all the time, and that is, how do you find your cliff jumping spots? I cannot tell you how many DMs I've received asking that exact thing. So I thought, why not make a video for you guys and show you how it's done? If you've been following me for some time, you know that I've jumped hundreds of cliffs, and the majority of them I found just on Google Earth on my laptop. Right now I'm seated here at my desk where all the magic happens, and without further ado, I'm going to show you guys what it looks like to find some cliff jumping spots. Let's do it. Okay, here we are in Google Earth. As you can see, I don't have any layers turned on aside from maybe terrain. It is just the blank canvas that is our planet. Let's start to find some spots. Now, one strategy that I like to do is you find a little river or creek and then you just follow it until you see something that looks promising. Let's look in the Tahoe area because there are a ton of good cliff jumping spots around there. So far, this river is looking really promising. As you can see, there are a lot of spots here. You'd call them a hole, which is where the river gets carved out, gets kind of deep. That's exactly what you're looking for. Remember, you're looking for deep water that's surrounded by cliffs. Wow, and this river is packed with what looks like deep water. Okay. Now this looks promising. This looks really promising. As you can see here, that appears to be a waterfall, and beneath it is a big, deep pool. That's exactly what we're looking for. And guess what? It's a real spot. This is a very iconic cliff jumping spot that I've sent in real life out in Northern California. And it's exactly what it appears to be on Google Earth. It is a waterfall, and underneath it is a massive, deep pool. But the Tahoe area is a little bit, it's kind of cheating. The cliff jumping around the Tahoe area is so good. Let's look somewhere harder. Let's take my home state of Colorado, for example. We have less water out here and different geology, therefore good cliff jumping spots are harder to come by. That said, we can use the same principles that we used in California in Colorado and still hopefully find something. You know, this creek is not looking too promising. It's, as you can tell, there's not a lot of water flowing through there. But see right here, this catches my eye. It looks like a pretty drastic change in topography. That's a fancy word for like slope. And I can't tell if that's a shadow or a pool. Here's a little trick to find that out. You go down to the bottom left-hand corner, click on that, and you can choose different imagery dates. Now, some of these are pretty blurry, but oh, see this one from 2013 makes it very apparent that that's not a shadow. It's actually a little pool. And guess what? It's another spot that I've jumped. This is Paradise Cove, the most popular cliff jumping spot in the entire state of Colorado. Which is why I don't feel bad for blowing it up on here. But that's another example of following a river or a stream or some little creek, and just if you follow it long enough and you find some little waterfall looking thing, it might be a jumpable cliff. Now, rivers are just part of the fun. There's obviously lakes you can jump into, there's ocean jumps, really just depends where you're living. Now let's go to one of my favorite lakes and find some cliffs there. This is the deepest lake in the United States, Crater Lake. I've posted many videos from there. It's absolutely gorgeous. And as you can see, the shores are nice and steep, and they appear to be loaded with what look to be jumpable cliffs. Now let's go in a little closer here. Now look at this. As you can see, there's a little parking area right here. And obviously these are massive cliffs. You would not want to hike through there, but it looks like if you hike up and around, you can get down to some puppies down here. Looks pretty promising. And guess what? They go! I was able to jump these cliffs last summer with my buddy Nate and my buddy Avery, and what can I say? It was incredible. Perhaps one of the most useful tools that you can use in Google Earth is that of terrain and or 3D buildings. Terrain basically shows you, the 3D topography of the area. It shows you the mountains, the valleys, all that. And 3D buildings is just an even more accurate version of that. Crater Lake is a really cool area because they did LiDAR scanning, which is essentially where they shoot lasers out of a plane, and it gives them really accurate information on the topography. And as you can see, when I zoom in, the individual trees show up in 3D. That's pretty cool. When you're looking for spots, something you have to consider is the hike into the spot. I have so many cool places pinned in some remote areas of the world that I'm just never going to be able to jump. Because when it comes down to it, if the cliff is 20 miles from a trailhead, not only do you have to hike 20 miles in, you've got to hike 20 miles back. And what happens to you if you're 20 miles in the backcountry and something goes wrong? Even this looks pretty tame on Google Earth, but in real life, it was a gnarly hike. Here's something you can do though. You can measure with the path tool. So as you can see, this is the path we took. We walked up the road. We went down this slope here, and we got down to that little rock, and we jumped off it a few times. Now, it's only 0.38 miles down there, but if I show the elevation profile, now you can see that there's a good amount of elevation change. That's 700-ish feet of elevation gain in 0.38 miles, which is a pretty steep hike. Let me tell you guys, getting to certain cliff jumping spots can be a lot more of a mission than it appears to be on Google Earth. That's why I think it's pretty important to be in shape if you're going to be going on these crazy cliff missions. That serves as an excellent segue into this video sponsor, which is Yesoul. Yesoul sent me the G1M Plus bike the other week, and let me tell you guys, I've loved it so far. First off, it has a 21.5 inch 1080p screen, so I can stream YouTube, all my favorite shows while I'm working out. Heck, if you want to, you can even watch SendyBenji cliff jumping videos while you're getting your workout in. The screen rotates to your convenience, so you can point it wherever. Of course, the seat is adjustable, and it comes with a little seat cushion, which is pretty sweet. And get this, you can even connect the Peloton app to the bike, so you can do all your favorite Peloton workouts on a bike. That's a lot better value. Huge thanks to Yesoul for sending me that bike. I use it every day, and I will continue to use it every day. If you guys want to purchase it, link in the description, use the code, and you'll get a discount. All right, back to the cliff hunting. Hopefully by now you guys are starting to understand how easy it is to find cliff jumping spots. But I'll show you guys just one more spot, while the video's going. We're gonna visit the beautiful islands of Hawaii, more specifically Kauai, the only island I've been to thus far. You can tell it's a big volcanic island. There are bound to be some cliffs that we can jump. Now look at that, the north shore of the island is looking promising. As you can see, there are houses here, probably best to avoid that. We don't want to trespass. And you can tell by the waves breaking there, it's not going to be very deep, not very promising for cliff jumping. But as I scan the shoreline, I'm starting to see what appear to be little cliffs. Now as you can see, there are houses around, but if you do some research, you can usually figure out whether or not the land is public or not. And guess what? It's another spot that I've jumped before. This is a beautiful spot on Kauai. I'm not going to give you guys the name because I don't want to blow the spot up more than it already is. But it was the only real ocean jump I've done in my life, was this little 15-foot cliff into the beautiful Pacific. Hopefully you guys learned something from this video. As always, my DMs are open, the comments are open if you have further questions, but hopefully this was enough information where you guys can get out there and start finding your own spots. As someone who gets millions of views on videos in nature, it's my responsibility to not share those spots. It's called geotagging, and if you ask me, it's inherently wrong. For example, my most viewed video got 240 million views. If just 1% of that, even if 0.1% of those viewers were to go to that spot, it would get trashed, someone would get hurt inevitably, and it would get shut down. So as someone with followers who gets views, I feel it's my responsibility to never share the spots that I'm jumping at. And that's why I made this video. I want you guys to be able to hop on Google Earth and go find cliffs near you. And take it from me, I think it's much more magical to jump a cliff that you found on your own versus some spot that you Googled. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you in the next one.